Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. I thought we would work on part 2 of finishing off this little journal that we created. So I will try to remember to link part 1. This is just a book cover that I used out of a big book cover, and we're turning it into a little journal, and then you can cut it in half and create 2 little journals. It's a stress-free, fun way to recycle papers, reuse things around the house. In today's video, I will be using a few tools, but you use what you've got. And the idea is just to have fun and touch paper and glue things and just have fun with maybe some ephemera you've already made. A great way to use it. So I thought we would do some decorating some pages today. I pulled out a couple of envelopes I have. We'll glue those in for some fun little flips and flops. There's some great YouTubers out there that show all these different techniques for creating folds and hidden tuck spots and all this stuff. Look, I went to town and got some glue. I'm so excited. I got some different kind of glue. Oh, the small little things that bring you joy. There's nothing like glue and paper. It just makes me happy. I just want to touch it all day. And there's just something textile about paper that brings joy to my heart. So I am just going to glue and paste today. We'll probably finish this journal off. So this is kind of a little bit of a craft along with me. We have our signatures that we did, just using whatever papers we have kicking around. So I'm going to move this out the way for now, and we'll work on a signature at a time. Maybe glue straight would be nice. And again, just having fun, relaxing. This is a great way for you to, if you've never journaled before or not sure where to start, this little video that I've done is really about just finding a stress-free way of putting things together. These are these little Amazon things. Oh, my puppy underneath the desk is having a dream right now if you hear some funny noises. They're just these little pockets. I love them. Get like 100 of them and they're just sticking ready to go. But you may not have those, so use whatever you've got. These we did last time. I believe we did this last time. I'm going to leave maybe a couple of pages blank. Let's see what other scraps I have kicking around. Here's another envelope. I like to include envelopes. They're super easy to add. I want to put something blank here though so that you can write on it. So do I have some scrappy scraps? Let's see. Let's pull out my scraps. So here, something like this, where I can just glue this in. I like in my journals to have a variety of texture in the paper, you know, texture as in patterning. And then I also like to make sure I have places where people can sketch or, what's the other word I'm thinking of? Write in. They have room to actually journal in a journal. It all depends on what you want the journal for. There's no wrong or right. Some people really like to write in their journals, you know, you think that's primarily what a journal's for, but not necessarily. For me, I'm not a huge writer. I like to take notes and stuff in journals, like if I have a journal cookbook kind of thing that I've made. Yeah, sure, I like to write in that. But for me, it's about flipping through and looking at things, textures, the vintage vibe of things. I really like to just kind of do more of a hands-on thing where I just flip through a book and really enjoy looking and touching and pulling things out, if that makes sense. So it really just depends on what you want your journal to be. So really, again, no wrong or right here. So I have this little collection of scrappy bits that I have kept in a little pan here. And again, just adding in textures. And you can get as elaborate as you want on these books. I mean, you can really go to town and embroider all these details, and it really just depends how much effort you want to put into a book. For this book, this is a simple, I'm just going to use up some materials and have some fun here kind of book. It's a great place to add a couple of sketches, which we'll do in a minute. Just want to flip through, leave some pages blank, like just suddenly wow factor, you know, of all these little details and textures that I just like to look through. They just make me happy to look through. So these are these leftover, I do Your Creative Studio product reviews, and I keep their packaging for things as well. So you can keep just about anything and reuse it. Let's get a piece of paper here. I just want to cover the label. Don't need to see the label so much. But yeah, just reuse whatever you can get your hands on. Great way to keep stuff out of the landfill. A really creative way of reusing stuff. Great for kids, seniors, anybody who wants to get their hands dirty with glue and paper is going to love journaling, in my opinion. And I've taught some journaling in my workshops, and I think people really get a thrill out of it. It's a lot of fun to work with these sorts of things and be creative. I'm just going to flip this over. Decide to put a little pocket on the back end of this envelope. See what direction things take you in. And just stick some double-sided tape here. Have a little pocket. And I just fold it over the edge here just to reinforce the corner of the edge of that pocket a little bit, because it is a thin piece of paper. And then I'll glue this envelope in. So you can keep your little, I like to keep these little tins, little trays kicking around. My goal is not to have them filled. So I tried to break up my crafting so that I don't have tons of material. It's been challenging. Just want to find something a little bit more, this paper's a little bit too thin for this envelope. Something with a little bit more strength. So I'm just going to glue down the back end of this envelope. And I'm going to have it so it flips open this way. Where's my crease? I'm just going to bring it in a little bit more. There we go. Make sure that that is centered and not in the way. Okay. Do something here. There we go. Sometimes I get a little ambitious with the glue and glue things together that aren't supposed to be. Okay, so another thing I like to do is I keep these envelopes. I have two. And they have all my projects in them that I've recently completed. So I like to take handfuls out. So bear with me because it will be a bit messy. Handfuls of stuff out. So I've got to find a little bit better of a storage solution, maybe more trays of things that I have completed already. So here's some, so like a sticker, did a video on how to do these using left up labels, ready to use, and just stick them in your book to decorate. So I thought maybe we could find something. These are the pressed flower ones we did with the varnish. See how it's flexible? Loving that. Maybe something a little smaller and make it that simple. You can ink, of course, if you like your journals inked. This one kind of has a little bit of a vintage vibe going on its own, so I'm not going to bother inking the edge of the envelope. Just want to make sure that that is stuck down well. And then that opens. Maybe something here. I did these big pocket corners with leftover scraps. So these are all the sewn things we did. Let's move some of this out of the way. That's just scraps. That shouldn't be in there. So these are really handy. And these were done at the end of making the part 1. I just sewed them all together so that we had used up our scraps. Try not to have too many scraps kicking around, which tends to be an issue for me. Maybe something dark, something dramatic. It's kind of fun. I'm just going to clean that edge a little bit. And then glue it down. And this is probably my funnest part. Well, my funnest part is really actually building the ephemera. I just love that because I get to doodle and everything makes me happy. I'm just lining it up because I want to see that black edge. Let's pull some stuff out of this one. So you can see it accumulates pretty quick, all the stuff that you can make. Some fabric stamping and sewing with some scraps, so just some paper, some fabric, and then I did a stamp. There's a couple of them here, which are really fun. So we'll incorporate some of those. Maybe something like that. It's a bit big. Something that simple. Maybe offset it with a piece of paper so you can write underneath it. I like it. My only dilemma right now is my glue is a mess. I'm trying to keep it stored the right way around so it doesn't create a long video waiting for it to drip down so I can glue things in. All right, I'll flip that over. Stick that down. Oops. Stick that down this way. And then I will glue this in. And so you can just keep creating layers of, is there 2 pieces here? There is. Creating layers of ready to use ephemera, watching other YouTubers or this channel on creating fun things to add to your journal, and then building this very simple, easygoing, fun journal. Do maybe a couple more in this segment here. Maybe something to go in here. I like that piece. Just something that simple. I love it. Let's see. I want to sketch. There's a stamp. So that's just, I actually etched that stamp myself. I carved it and then stamp it. So you can just staple that in if I can find my stapler. Let me just go off camera here because it's a big one. It's nice too. You can incorporate, oh, I don't have any staples left. That's right. I remember that now. You can incorporate things like just simple little, what are these called? Not safety pins, paper clips, so that these things can move, which is also fun. Put something in here maybe that you can add later. Some sketches. Love this piece. I haven't used this yet. I love it. I did a sketch on some vellum. Is it vellum? No, tissue paper. Is it tissue paper? Tracing paper. And I just sketched on it, and it's so feminine and delicate, and I love this piece. And I haven't used it yet, so let's use it. And this sketch maybe took me, 5 minutes to do. I just love the idea of it being light and delicate. It's such a feminine looking piece. I love that. So let's tape this guy in. What have we got for tape kicking around here? I usually have some form of tape. That's double-sided. There's just some standard sellotape here. I'm going to tape that right down here. Just to incorporate this little flap to the journal. And I do that straight. Knowing me, I did it crooked. I just wanted this little piece to form out. That's good. And then we'll put this on here. Now, I don't know if the glue, I think the glue will make this wrinkle because it's very fine paper. So what we will do is we will continue with this tape and just tape it in. Because it's clear enough, I don't think it's gonna bother anything. Ooh, sharp scissors would be good right now. Maybe a piece at the top here. So again, just using whatever you've got. Just have some fun. Maybe all you have is sellotape and old newspapers. Nothing wrong with that. Just do your own little sketches. So that's cute. I think I'll leave that one. That will be enough for that one. Gives people room to add things that they might like. It still has enough interest that makes people want to flip through it and see what's going on in this journal. I'm going to add something to this insert. Maybe just take this out and insert something else. Put the amazing at the top. There, that's a little bit more interesting. Okay, so we've got that. Let's do, so the danger, of course, is that they get thicker and thicker. So you might end up just going with 2. That's why I don't like to sew anything in until I've filled it. This is an insert we did. So this one is a glue down, I believe. Yeah, and it's got a couple of different pockets here with some things in it. We could glue that in there. How big is that? Let's see. How much does it stand out? I love things that poke up. Let's do it. I really like this page though, so I'm going to leave that one. Maybe something else. We'll do the back. All right, let's do it. I'm going to use a stronger glue because this is pretty thick. I think I did a video on this one. I'm pretty sure. Come on. On how I built these little pockets using up scraps. I'm running out of glue. This 3-in-1, I love this glue, but it's like a love-hate relationship. Doesn't always love me back. Okay, glue that in. Sit there for a second. Here's another one. And another one. It's pretty. I like the bleed on that ink. Let's just pin that one in so you can move it to wherever you like. Again, a staple would be nice. A stapler would work. What's this guy? Oops. He's coming off. He is a little, turn him into maybe a little folder with paper in it. So I won't use him right now. Let's see if I can fix that though. This is kind of cute. Maybe tuck it in this spot. And I don't know if any of this is on camera, sorry. I'm kind of all over the place with the camera. Some pressed flowers that I had. Love these. I just think that's so cool. Let's use it. Let's maybe put some of these guys in there. See if I can reach with my, buried all my tools now. My crocodile over here. Okay. Put this here before it shifts. Did it even go through the plastic? There we go. And then these just open. Uh-oh, Puppy's waking up. She wants her walk, which is good. She's motivated me to, you know, when you have a dog, you got to walk it. So we've been walking a lot. I try to walk about 5 kilometers a day, which has been challenging, but my hip is much better. So I take full advantage of it. I'm just going to add another one here just for a decorative element. I tried to take advantage of feeling better and try and get some weight off, try and get a little bit healthier. And puppies and dogs are great for that sort of thing. You know, there's no excuse not to walk them. So I've got to get out, rain or shine. She gets her walk and I get my exercise. So she's been a blessing, really. Okay, so there, just something fun like that. I love this, just the simplicity of it, and then the texture behind, and then the metal element inside. Okay, I'm gonna do something else. Let's maybe get another envelope. Do you have any more? So much stuff in here. Oh, here's a sticker we can use. So again, just using up some old labels. Just adds another little quick and easy to use project. Thought I had more envelopes. Oh, here's one. So we can use this. Pretty beaten up, so we'll hide that a little bit in a second. Let's glue it down. And these little envelopes are great little spots if you're selling your journals or giving them away. They're great little spots for tucking in. So if you're building the journal and you have all your little scraps left over, your little bits and papers or whatever, you just fold them up and put them in there so that whoever's receiving the journal can pull stuff out and decorate the journal with. So that's why I like to incorporate a couple of envelopes. So I'm going to hide this with the sketch. So I always have sketches. You guys know me. I'm a doodler. So I always have sketches ready to go. And that's why. And of course, if you do sketch and you're loving the sketches you make, photocopy them. So you can use them over and over again. This is an original sketch, but I could have photocopied it, cut it up, and use it in several different journals. So don't think that if you're just going to use the sketch one time and you put all that effort into it, use it several times. Okay, so there's that. That's really pretty. I like that page. You could sew too, because these are not, what's the word? They're not glued in. I might actually sew that actually, just to reinforce it, because you can see it's thick paper, so it will pull away unless you reinforce it with some heavy duty glue or some stitching. So you always want to bear in mind the kind of paper you're using, the weight of the paper, and make sure you reinforce that so that it doesn't fall apart if someone's to use it. You want these to last. But again, simple, stress-free. Okay, so there's the center. What's this? Some more sketches. Kind of complements it. I'll just put that in with a, see if I can glue it wherever they want. I mean, you can take the edges and fold them to make pockets. You can do that while you're making the, while you're building the journal itself. It's a bit big. Here's some more varnished. I use the varnish. Just go into my playlist if you're interested in seeing how these are done. And what's nice is they're flexible. So you can put them on these leftover stickers that you might have kicking around. And then boom, they're ready to decorate a journal. I mean, how easy is that? And you can do, you know, you can do a bunch of these in one day. In one sit-down session, so to speak. I really like the color of this. I'm going to tape this in so it's a little flip out. I use my favorite fabric tape, which is just first aid tape. And I love using this tape. It's super cheap. I like the texture of it. I love that it absorbs inks too because it's fabric. Leaves another nice little texture on the other side. All right, what else can we do here? What else we got in our goodie bag? More sketches. I'm gonna add some bright colors. Some little journal pages. Just something people can open up and use. Throw that away. Little sketches, look. And all these scraps I use, I just sketch on them. This has a little stitching on it with a sketch. So let's use that to anchor it in. So, oh, that's got a sketch on the other side. So I don't want to use that. Let's just use a single. Use it as a decoration as opposed to... That's a fun contrast too with the cream, the bright cream, and the super white. Add some interest. So you can make very colorful journals. You can make very subdued, vintagey type journals like I like to make. I also really like a black and white journal. I worked on one of those a while ago. That was really fun. And again, these are just sketches that I inked. I think these were done on business cards. I think these were business cards. And then I just sketch on them. I get them secondhand. Just make sure there's no glue there. What's this one? Let's add a couple more of these, shall we? So these are just the sewn together bits that I quite like. What have we got in here? Into view. There's something I can use. Giant paper clip. Oh, there's some trying to get organized. Maybe not. I'm just gonna glue this in just for some texture. So I got texture going this way. Now I've got an interest in element going up, straight up. So it's not functional, it's just decorative. That's pretty. So many goodies. I have this, just found these. These are, I decorated these a while ago. They're little tabs. Could be fun to stick on here. How far out would that go? Not that far, so it works. Just use this glue. I would recommend gluing when you go to glue, put glue on things, not to do it over top of your book. Just so that you don't glue all your pages together. All right, I'll leave that blank for sketch. And let's put something on this guy. Here's a little cluster of papers that are just stapled together. So scraps, oops, some scraps. This was a fun project of sealing pressed flowers in between paper. That's also a tutorial in there somewhere on my playlist. So maybe we will use the giant paper clip for that. Just throw that in there. Okay, so you can see, pretty full again. We might only get 2 signatures in this book. That's why I like to fill before I sew or stitch them in. I think that's it. That's all we're getting out of that. So let's put them in. So I like, again, to be able to pull things out and play with them, manipulate them further. So if I wanted to do a sketch on this, I could pull the sheet out. So there's a way of just tying these in, the simplest, easiest way of building a journal. And that is just finding something to tie with. So this, in my case, I found this huge thing of elastic lace years ago. And this was full. That's how many journals I've made in my day. And like I said, I like using this because, one, it's super stress-free. If you're not a sewer like me, you don't love sewing, it's okay, because this bypasses all the sewing. And you're basically just going to wrap it through if you want the knot on the outside of the journal, or maybe you want the knot on the inside of the journal. So in that case, I put it, and I do it this way. So I'm going to find my center of my pages for starters and cluster them together. And then I'm just literally going to tie them in. So I show this, I've shown this before. This is not new. Lots of journalers use this method. I try and use a little less lace. Try and get 2 pages tied in. And I tie them in so that I can pull it and undo it. And then I just line it up, line the bend of my signature inside, and then I just leave the lace on the outside. You can do something fun, like put beads on this. You can decorate it as much as you want. Put beads, you can leave, and if you don't have elastic, it's not the end of the world. It's easier to tie with elastic, sure, but if you just have cord, then just use cord. Whatever you have. You can put beads on the end and make them dangle down the bottom. All kinds of fun. So there's the first signature. So in this case, I think I will just tie them in. And then on this one here, another way of doing it, I'll show you really quick. I just tie them through. So this one I'm just going to tie in because I really like the look of the tie-in with this. I find it kind of suits it. And the idea behind this was, you know, stress-free. I don't want you to stress about building a journal. I just want you to see this simple way of doing it. You do want to make sure that your pages are not too long. So this page is a bit long, so he's going to rip. So you do want to bear that in mind when you're, I'm just going to tie a knot with this one because it's a small piece. You do want to bear that in mind when you're cutting your pieces. So this guy's a bit tall, but it doesn't bother me because I kind of like the more beaten up they look, the more I like them. So you can see the tension is much greater on this piece of elastic because I used a smaller piece. I just line it up with the spine, and now I have a journal. And I think it's really cute. Look how stuffed it is. We hardly put anything in it. So when you're building your journals, I highly recommend you kind of play with them, put stuff in them, fill them, have fun with them before you decide how you're going to anchor your pages. And I'm not going to show you the sewing technique because there's 1,000 journal YouTubers out there who sew way nicer than me. I'm just showing you the stress-free, easy, just have fun with it way. So I would normally use the elastic in this too. All I did was I took my gaiter and I punched holes. And then I punched double holes because I thought maybe I'd do something decorative. I have my signatures here. So I'm going to double up on a signature. Same thing I showed you in part 1, just using up whatever papers you have. And you'd be amazed how fast you can collect paper once you start journaling. You'll start seeing things in a whole new light. You'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm keeping that. Oh, Amazon packaging? Yeah. Yeah, it becomes a bit of an obsession. So in this case, I want the knot inside the journal. I'm going to feed back through just for a decorative purpose. It's not necessarily functional because I'm not going through I'm not sewing through the signature. So this is just decorative. I don't want this. You can feed it so that it goes through this way out and then the string goes down on the outside. It just purely preference and decorative. So I'm going to just keep feeding this in. This is fraying. It's just cheapy cord. And then I'm gonna pull it even from the piece that I cut. Oh, I went across. Oops. Pay attention. So I'm going to, and this has no elasticity. This is rigid, so it is not rigid, but it doesn't stretch. Just to give you an example of that you can use more than just one type of material to sew your journals in. This isn't even sewing, this is tying. I shouldn't say sewing. Then I find the center, I drop it in, and I tie it off. So if you're doing this method, as opposed to the first method I showed you, just make sure that your pages are cropped a little bit shorter than the hole, because what's going to happen is this string is going to pull in and dent your pages or rip your pages. So you kind of want to choose the method of how you're going to put these signatures in when you're cutting them. So what I find the trickiest part, if it's not elastic, is tying the signatures where it's tight. So then you can have this hang down and then your signature is tied in. And again, if I want to work on something, I can just pull it out. And then I just tie all my signatures in. So I'm doubling up on these. Again, we haven't filled these, so they will get more and more full as you put stuff in them. But that is my stress-free journal approach. And they make these really cute little, and they have a handmade vibe. They're not, you know, top quality journals, but I mean, we didn't take hours making them. They're made out of recycled goods, out of an old book cover. It was a law book, I believe, the most boring book in the world of books, like law study. Oh my God, I don't know how people become lawyers reading that. I'd go nuts. But I cut the book cover in half, so we got 2 journal covers out of it. And all I did was use that fabric tape and taped it to a spine, to another piece of cardstocky type journal book cover that I had from something else, and created my little journals. And now they're chock full of goodness. I hope that gave you some inspiration to make a fun, easy approach to journaling. A great way to introduce new people to journaling, kids, seniors, anybody who wants to get their hands on paper and glue. It really is a textile thing. You want to touch it and play with it and look at it and embellish it, and that's what it's all about. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.